Man, we are 2 days away from opening kickoff in the NFL season. We'll see the Bills and the Rams play, Thursday night. That's a prime time premier game right there. The NFL did good there. But I'm here to tell you there's one thing that's still kind of unresolved. There's an elephant in the room for an AFC North quarterback between now and then. His name is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is still trying to get a contract done. But Lamar Jackson also said that once the season starts, that's it. Contract talks are gone. That's it. It's over. At that point, he's just focusing on football. So here we are, 2 days away. Lamar Jackson is getting ready to play on his 5th year option here. And he's seen other guys younger than him get paid. Guys in the same draft class as him get paid. Even, older vets get paid quite a bit. But the 2019 MVP of the league, unanimous MVP, still without a deal. So, mind you, he doesn't have an agent. So I'm pretty sure that plays a part of it. But also, seeing the likes of Kyler Murray, who came in after him, get paid. And Kyler Murray's contract is $230.5 million. With $189.5 million guaranteed. I know one thing's for sure. Lamar Jackson better not get a penny under that. Kyler hasn't done anything in this league. One playoff appearance in the 3 years that he's played. And that playoff appearance last year was so bad. So bad. I thought the Cardinals was foolish to lock him up as early as he did for that amount. The Rams waxed the whole field with him. It was over. The game was over before it started. Kyler Murray in the Cardinals offense is completely different when DeAndre Hopkins is not playing. We found that out last year towards the second half of the year. Because the first half of the year, the Cardinals at one point in time was looking like the best team in the NFL, period. They had the best record for a while. DeAndre Hopkins gets hurt. They're a tale of two teams. They couldn't score. Defense got tired. Points started running up. Offense looked super stagnant. Couldn't even move the ball. James Conner wasn't as effective anymore. Father Time showed up for A.J. Green really fast. Zach Ertz was a nice addition. But he still didn't fully know the playbook. And now, DeAndre Hopkins, he's missing the first 6 games for PED usage. Probably doing his recovery. That's neither here nor there. But either way, there's no DeAndre Hopkins. They have a tough schedule to start the year out with. But yet, Kyler Murray still gets $189.5 million guaranteed on a contract. So if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm looking at that like that is the floor by far. By far. And then what doesn't help is probably what the Cleveland Browns did with Deshaun Watson, who didn't play a single down last year. But we know Deshaun Watson's greatness. We've seen it. We know what he can do when he actually has weapons around him. That man's a superstar. But for the Browns to give him a fully guaranteed contract at $230 million, 100% guaranteed, like that, probably one of the main reasons why a deal hasn't been done. Because he sees that like, Deshaun Watson, I'm more somewhat in his ballpark as far as talent is concerned. Playoff success, a little similar. But Deshaun Watson's been doing it a little longer. So maybe I deserve at least that much, if not more. I mean, if we just look at these contracts, like the half a billy man, Patrick Mahomes, $450 million contract, but only a little over $141 million is guaranteed. Josh Allen, who's in the same class as him, he has a $258 million contract. $150 of that's guaranteed. Sierra's husband, also known as Russell Wilson, he just got paid $242 million on that contract extension, which $161 of that is guaranteed. So yeah, I already mentioned, Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson there. So it's like Lamar, I say his contract should be right below Josh Allen's, or pretty darn close. Yeah, so Josh Allen right now can be considered the best quarterback in the game right now. And that's fair. Because what we've seen with the eye test and what he has done on the field so far, the playoff success, the team is continuing to grow. He's continuing to, grow himself. He hasn't even hit his prime yet, but I'm pretty sure that's coming like probably this year or next year by far. Bills are primed for a Super Bowl run here. Josh Allen, turned that franchise around, so Josh Allen deserved all that money. I feel like Lamar Jackson is kind of in a similar boat. Like the Baltimore Ravens was left for, basically left for dead at one point. Like Joe Flacco was on his last leg. It seemed like, all the great pieces around him either left or retired. It was a new era. They took a chance on Lamar Jackson, tailored the offense towards him. Look at him now. He kind of rejuvenated that franchise, who's been one of the most consistent franchises in the last 15 years or so. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, he was league MVP in 2019, also was the touchdowns leader that year. 2-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro that year. I mean, the only thing that's missing from his resume is a deep playoff run. I mean, last year they didn't make the playoffs because he got hurt. And that's a whole nother thing in this equation, right? This dude's playing on his fifth year contract, fifth year on his rookie scale. It's like, should he go out there and risk injury? Because I was listening to Stephen A. Smith the other day. He basically said, like what happens if he goes out there and gets a significant injury? Like all the money that you've been wanting for and striding for will basically go down the drain. Because he is going to get another contract after this. It's only 25. So let's say the next deal is up at like 30 or 31. He's looking at another mega deal if everything, continues on this projectile of a scale for him of progression, right? He's looking at 2 massive deals in his lifetime. Russell Wilson's a perfect example, who just got 2 of them. One with Seattle, his extension here with the Broncos. He's locked in until 40 years old. He's 33. So if you Lamar Jackson, I get it, you're betting on yourself, and so far so good. You are milking every possible dollar out of the Baltimore Ravens based on your play, your production, your value to the team, what you mean to the city of Baltimore. I get that. But Stephen A. is right as far as potential injury that can just, just like all this effort for nothing. That's like playing Monopoly and you land on Boardwalk and they got hotels on it. You more than likely you going bankrupt. Or the game Wheel of Fortune, you spin the wheel, you got all that money, and you land on the black bankrupt. I mean, that's exactly what that would mean if this was to happen. Of course, we don't want injury for anybody at all. But it is the most violent game in America. So you're at risk every single play. Especially at the quarterback position. Especially for the skill set that he utilizes. His legs are a major component to his game. Every year he's getting better as a pocket passer, but to keep the defense honest, to keep him explosive, to keep him a dynamic force, he has to use his legs as well. The ultimate dual threat quarterback. So if you're Lamar Jackson, what should you do? Or more so, what would you do? Would you A, continue to go by your stance? If the deal's not done by Thursday, would you gonna play it out and see what happens? Because at that point, more than likely a franchise tag is coming. And then if nothing gets done then probably another franchise tag is coming like they did Kirk Cousins in Washington. And by the way, shout out to his agent because he got one heck of an agent. I want his agent. Kirk Cousins in his lifetime has gotten paid. I mean, paid. But that's a story for another day. So will we go that route? Will we go route B, which is to hold out until a deal gets done and not play at all? Or C, would we settle for something that is probably less than what you think you're worth just to get a deal done and get some financial security and then play that out and get a bigger deal later? Which one would you choose? Because I get Lamar Jackson's approach on this, but I also looking at generational wealth that's being thrown in my face that is kind of hard to ignore. Financial security that is being presented right there. If I just go in and tell them, like, look, if you give me at least 190 guaranteed, this deal is done, which is more than Kyler Murray's. Let's go. Like, I feel like that is an option that's out there. I really do feel like that is a real option that's out there that the Baltimore Ravens are fine with at that point. So I feel like those are three options that can take place between now and kickoff on Thursday. I don't expect Lamar Jackson to choose option B, which is holding out until a deal gets done. I don't expect that. He's on record saying he's not that. But that is an option that he probably could take and would be understandable if he did. But at the end of the day, it's Lamar Jackson's choice. The season starts Thursday. I feel like the Baltimore Ravens are primed to be a threat in the West. In the AFC North. They are a threat. I feel like they have a legitimate chance of winning the AFC North division. And the way the AFC West is a gauntlet right now, I mean, they have a chance for a high seed, possibly as high as 2, if not 1, depending on the luck and fortunes of the Buffalo Bills. The Ravens are legit. So, we'll see there. All right, so the only other thing I want to talk about today is college football and how there's an agreement to expand the playoffs to 12 teams in 2026 with the possibility of exercising that as early as 2024. So, I am 100% for expansion. However, I don't know if 12 is the right number for this. My issue is I don't want it to be watered down. I don't want it to be like what we saw with Georgia and Oregon, where Georgia waxed them. Like, they didn't even belong in the same stratosphere at all. At all, man. Like, Oregon was ranked 11th. So, if the top 12 teams, supposed to make the playoffs, I mean, is that a prediction or some sort of foresight of what we may see? Something like that? That's one of my points right there. Georgia's ranked 3rd in the nation. Oregon's ranked 11th. Georgia won 49-3. Blowout. My solution would have been 8. I feel like 8 is a good, solid number. I feel like there's always like a couple of teams that's like right there at the end of the year that doesn't make the cut. That's legit, in my opinion. So I feel like those teams, just kind of curious to see what they could do. But yeah, something like this, where they get blown out, it's not a good look. Like I mentioned, I don't want it to be watered down. But, maybe 12 may be good at some point. I was discussing this on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast on Saturday. And I mean, I would change my approach on it, my mind. Teams like Texas and USC, who's supposed to join these bigger conferences, like the SEC and the Big Ten, respectfully, get those names back in, powerhouse modes. Maybe at that point, it's like, okay, then maybe we're talking about something. The SEC has been a dominant league. Texas has always been a dominant brand in college football. The last few years hasn't been the greatest, but, them getting Peyton and Eli's nephew and coming here soon, plus them joining the SEC, Texas brand is about to be rebuilt. It's about to be refreshed. And at that point, it's like, okay, maybe there is more competition. Maybe there's some legitimate competition out here. Maybe we can find a legitimate 12 teams to play in this college playoff. I'm for that. So right now I'm not in favor, but there is room for optimism. So with that, I mean, like I said, all in all, I'm for expansion. I just don't want it to be watered down in the way Georgia beat the brakes off of Oregon. Doesn't help. But let's see how all this shakes out. All right, continue to rock with your boy. JGoodWithSports right here on the No Offense Radio and the No Offense Network. Follow your boy on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Check me out Saturday mornings on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast with my bros Brandon and Ian. I'm pretty sure this upcoming weekend there's going to be a whole bunch of NFL talk. I can't wait for that. And that's live on Facebook every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Central Time. Destination Fantasy Podcast, Fantasy Football Podcast. We are there every week, Sunday mornings, starting no later than 7:15 Central Time with my bros Deshaun and Walter. Can't wait to break down Week 1 activity here this upcoming Sunday. But you all have a good one. Be safe. See you soon. Peace.